An artwork in the heart of Brisbane City points to Queensland's violent past.
It's a work that looks at massacres in Queensland that are on the public record. It's a really important work to tell this story to a general public right outside of Brisbane Magistrates Court.
Witnessing to Silence is the work of bachelor artist and historian Fiona Foley. When she installed this nearly 20 years ago, she pretended it was about natural disasters, not 94 massacre sites. Why did you feel the need not to declare up front that there was a hidden message here?
Because I'd tested the waters before, and Queensland's such a conservative state. We have to think about the brutality that was perpetrated against Aboriginal nations. We have to atone for what happened in this country.
Ensuring these stories don't stay hidden, the Queensland Government set up a truth-telling inquiry as part of a longer-term treaty process, a move that did enjoy bipartisan support.
This moment, here and now, begins to put right centuries of wrongs.
We need to be upfront. We cannot shy away from the real experiences of Indigenous Australians throughout history.
But all that changed on October 14.
The Indigenous voice referendum has been defeated.
Queensland's strong no vote, with 2 out of 3 electors rejecting the constitutional change, prompted the opposition leader to renege on his path to treaty support.
Queenslanders have spoken, and I have heard them.
7:30 caught up with David Crisafulli at a media conference earlier this week. The voice referendum was about a change to the Constitution, not about a path to treaty. Why are you conflating the two?
Peter, the level of vitriol and the level of division that I saw during that campaign has convinced me that we must find another way.
Mick Gooder, who sits on the Queensland board to set up the truth-telling and treaty process, says the opposition leader's sudden change of heart took him by surprise.
I thought, at least we're going back, we've got treaty, we've got truth-telling that's happening, we've got resources for it. We're in a bit better position than most people in Australia, and then that drops on us and it just knocks the wind out of you.
And that concern was heightened when the Premier herself appeared reluctant to endorse a treaty.
Do you think that Queenslanders still support treaties being negotiated with First Nations people?
That's a long way off, and that would require bipartisan support. The next stage is truth-telling.
I was a bit worried because we had nothing but commitments to this, but she clarified that point for us, and we're confident we're back on track.
The backlash gained further momentum with a provocative opinion piece by the head of the Queensland Police Union, implying a treaty and truth-telling could lead to more crime.
I'm saying what a lot of people want to say, and a lot of people want to say things, but they're too frightened to.
There needs to be change.
The background to this is Queensland's long-running, highly emotional and often politicised youth crime debate.
One Indigenous leader said to me that the tone of your comments could encourage violence against Indigenous people. Can you understand why they would see it that way?
It's sad that they see it that way, but I'm one who wants positive change.
But are you really pushing positive change by saying that treaty is a free pass to crime?
It absolutely can be, because what we are doing, people are incarcerated at a rate that is far too high.
First of all, I thought I was back in the Belkey-Peterson years when the police union felt they were part of government and probably part of cabinet.
The police union head's comments were condemned by the Premier, while the First Nations Police Advisory Group called for his resignation. And what was your view on comments by the police union, Ian Levers? Do you think they were appropriate comments?
But Peter, this is exactly the reason why I don't want to embark on the path that we spoke of, because we are seeing comments that will further divide the state.
The Queensland Police Service has accepted it needs to build better relations with the Indigenous community.
A recent Commission of Inquiry found evidence of a culture of racism within the Queensland Police Service. Do you accept that that's part of the problem as well?
Well, look, we're a broad organisation, and as you would recall in my evidence, I accept that 2% of the Queensland Police Service have racist or misogynistic views. That's absolutely unacceptable. But let's not take away the 98% of people who are doing the right thing.
Well, I'll believe that when I see the 98% starting to do something about the 2%. And maybe you're in the middle of this, mate. You should be starting from a union point of view, taking up the majority of those good police. But we don't see that. Fixing those things up will go a long way to making this better, and rather than just using this language that's really inflammatory.
Queensland's path to treaty is now law. The Palaszczuk government is expected to set up a truth-telling inquiry and a treaty institute before next year's election. The opposition is promising to scrap this.
The last thing we need to do is to divide the state again. But what I'm not going to do is walk away from my commitment to find another way and a better way for Indigenous communities.
Fiona Foley says a better way has to also involve an acknowledgement of the past. Why does history and truth-telling matter in this process?
Because it's the underpinning for race relations in this country. If you don't understand those aspects of history, then how do you reconcile what's been happening in this country for over 200 years?